Welcome back to the Rare Book Views channel, where I talk about how much I love books and reading and bookstores and book collecting and reading and libraries and also reading. If you're into any of those things, please consider subscribing to the channel and dropping me a comment. Tell me what you're reading and what you enjoy about books. I always love hearing about it. I am going to go book shopping today because why not? I don't even need any books, but I'm excited to go to a bookstore, and I thought I'm gonna just take some time and do it because I know other people who need books and I like finding homes for books. So I'm gonna go to this big warehouse bookstore today, and I'm really excited because the last time I was there, I found a whole aisle that I didn't even know they had. And sometimes they move stuff around, they're always reorganizing ish. Organizing might be a loose term. So you get to do some treasure hunting, you never know what you'll find. I have a very long wish list for other people, and that should be great because I have so many things I'm looking for. The odds are very good that I will find something, and I could use an afternoon of just entertainment in a bookstore. So let's go see what we can find. I made one slight miscalculation. I forgot that it is extremely warm out today, and the warehouse bookstore has fans occasionally intermixed throughout the aisles. They do not have air conditioning, and I was there for a good chunk of time. So by the time I was leaving, I was a little bit zonked, a little wilted, but I did have a very good time. I found some great treasures that I am happy to share with you for my friend whose kids need a lot of reading material, and she gives me a long list of things to treasure hunt for. I got a couple things. This is a series we haven't tried before, Heroes in Training. It is a whole series, and this one, Very Bloody History of Britain. So history books are really cool. These kind of sarcastic, alternate ways of telling stories are always cool. The prices, I said to my friend, I sent her a picture and said, these prices seem very high. And I forgot that at this store, everything is half price if you're paying in cash. If you're paying in trade, it's some other confusing math. So I forgot to do the calculation on these because I was so distracted by the sticker shock. So these are actually a really good steal. $1.50. And I am a sucker for Alice in Wonderland. I have a whole video of my kind of sizable collection of Alice books, so I will put a link to that if you want to check it out. I found this one, which is really great. Oh, such a sweet edition. It is a facsimile copy, so it's trying to look like the original. It's trying to reprint it the way it was when it was originally printed. The original, the first edition, had this. It was red, and it had this sort of silhouette on the front, and the type is very similar. There's a little bit, you can almost see the gilt is very faded, the title and everything. And this edition is interesting to me on a bunch of levels. One is it's a facsimile, so this is what the original looked like. And it says here, this facsimile edition of the first edition is published for the members of the Book League of America, which I guess was a very early book of the month or similar book club, New York, 1941. So to give you an idea, first of all, these are the original, the John Tenniel illustrations, which are kind of the benchmark. I'm sure you have seen this in your life. You can't avoid this. It's on a t-shirt or a poster or something that you've seen. I have a facsimile. I got this. This is a facsimile copy of the first one that Lewis Carroll wrote in his own hand before it was really set up to be published. And I got this at the British Library. And if you're ever in London, please go there. It's wonderful. When I went, they had the original on display, and it's in his handwriting with his own sketches. So, of course, I have a soft spot for a facsimile, and I think that's a very cool edition. And I also have, this is a reprint, but it's also by Macmillan. And you can almost see, there's no gilt, but it has that, this is Alice. Okay, this is a reprint by the original publisher. This is a facsimile of the original. And you can see they're probably saving a little bit on production costs by making it thinner paper maybe, and the materials aren't quite as luxurious, but what a cool edition to have, because it looks just like the original, kind of in the middle of these two that I have. So I don't think I'm gonna keep this, but it was a bargain. This was $5. It's probably not worth a ton, but if I sell it for 10 on eBay minus fees, it'll be enough to, I mean, if you're only paying a couple dollars a book, it'll buy me another book that I don't have a copy of. So I'm very excited about that. This might be the showstopper. This is the Ingoldsby Legends, and it's illustrated by Arthur Rackham. I love Arthur Rackham. I think he's so cool. I think his biography story is super cool, and I think his illustrations are cool and just a little bit creepy. Little macabre. His fairies and goblins get a little bit. And these early editions are this sweet spot of when book publishing, when books were really works of art, when you really were buying something that you were going to read a million times, or going to be on your shelf in a pride of place. This is the style of end paper that I've seen from Arthur Rackham before. Really, really nice. It says the Ingoldsby Legends, and then it says 1910 is the latest date in here. The paper is, it's a little thin. There are some color illustrations. There are some black and whites that he did. It looks like pen and ink, and then a couple that look more like maybe woodblock. The cover of this book was very interesting to me because the cover is really beautiful. The spine is very pretty, and then even the back has some gilt illustration on it. This was, it does have some wear, I'll point out on the top. Somebody pointed out that in one of my videos, when I gave a tour of the library, that I was pulling the books out by the spine, and you should not do that. It's really bad for books. And I replied and said, I'm trying to put my finger here and not here. This part of the fabric of the books is usually pretty weak, and if you pull the weight on it, eventually this will give. And you can see that someone has been putting their hand here when they pull it off. This is such an old book, it's probably been taken off the shelf so many times, it's got a little bit of wear, but it's still a really nice edition. And I had a copy, I already have a copy of this book, but mine has this on the spine, and then the boards are a different color, and I still can't really tell if it's been rebound or if this is this faded. But this feels like leather, and this feels like cloth board. This is the end paper in the edition that I had, and somebody signed it and inscribed it in 1948, and it does say this edition September 1898, but reprinted 1915, and then it has the same, but the color illustrations are really different. They're on a thicker piece of paper. I don't think they're quite as nice. So I think what has happened is I have upgraded. I think this one is a nicer edition than the one that I had. So I will keep this one, and then this one I will find a new home for. Which is fantastic. I feel like that's a big accomplishment for the day. That was worth the trip, honestly. I paid for the new one, I paid about $20, which kind of feels like a bargain. The one that I have, I'm not really sure because I got it at an auction I bought a whole shelf of books, and so it's kind of hard to figure out exactly how much did I pay for this, but maybe $10. So I'm still in good shape. Okay, I got this. This is a Heritage Press edition. Heritage Press editions are really nice. They're hardcover in a slipcase. and often illustrated with really, really good illustrations. This is a subscription service, and you could join this and get a book periodically. They would send this, I'm so glad it came with this periodical called The Sandglass, and it gives a little history of the book. Sometimes it explains who the illustrator is, things like that. So these tend to be really nice, and it's really great if you want to get a reader copy of a classic or a nicer book, and then you want to have a copy that you're fine reading, and they tend to be not expensive. This is The Sketchbook by Washington Irving, and I just think this is such a crazy book. So this is a compilation of short stories, and Washington Irving, back in the day, he was a rock star of American literature. Everybody knew his name. He was the John Grisham of the time. Everyone would have a copy of this book. This is short stories, and it's a pretty significant book, right? This has The Legend of Sleepy Hollow in it, and I'm going to tell you that it's got some other really interesting things. There's a story about Christmas in here. There's some poetry. Rip Van Winkle is in here. This copy has color illustrations as well as some black and white ones, and I love reading The Legend of Sleepy Hollow in October. It just is the way to get in the mood, I think, for the season. So I had looked for this book, or a copy of the sketchbook, for a really long time, and I found one many years ago, and I have this exact book, the Heritage Press edition, in the slipcase, but the copy that I have is missing the bottom of the slipcase. And honestly, you would well, I actually have it, but it's become detached. You would never know that. It's on the bookshelf. But I paid $3 for this copy, and the bottom is, as I said, that's where it's fallen out. This one, the one that I just got, I paid $4 for. So I haven't decided exactly what I'll do with the old one, but I will find a purpose for it. And I'm excited to upgrade the one I had. And the other book that I got on this trip is also a Heritage Press. It does not have the dust, it doesn't have the slipcase. Somebody put on this nice archival jacket. And this is the works of Edgar Allan Poe, which this is a great book for Heritage Press. They issued several copies of this. I've seen it in a bunch of different versions, and sometimes it has sort of a marbleized cover, and I've never seen this checkerboard one before. I'm going to show you the super creepy. The illustrations are fantastic. Yikes. So this is a great book if you have a friend who's a Poe fan, as many of us are, if you have somebody in your life who is looking for a copy, if you know someone who's going to be reading one of these books in maybe high school or college, one of the great Poe classics like The Cast of Amontillado or The Black Cat, things like that, this is a wonderful edition to have. I think it's so cool to have a nice copy. I, of course, have several copies of the works of Poe. I don't need another one. So I haven't decided if this is going to be a gift for someone who does not watch my channel or if this is going to get passed on, but we'll see. We'll see how this one ends up. So all in all, really great shopping trip. I had so much fun, even though it was ridiculously warm in the store, and I found great things. I think I also found one thing for the present shelf that I will show you perhaps when I mail things off at the end of the year. And that is it for me. I had a really good time. Thank you everybody who watches my channel and says nice things to me about it. I think that I have found the positive corner of the internet, and I love hearing from all the readers. So please tell me if you're collecting something or if you're looking for a special edition. Please let me know what you think of the shopping videos versus the tour of the collection videos. Thank you for watching, and happy reading.